Check it out. It's been 2 years since I created the video on this eyesore of a section in my yard. It used to just be this really ugly area with the septics and you know, just your eyes would just go straight to those green tops of the septic area. And it was 2 years ago that I created the video strategizing how to think about turning areas that are kind of ugly and just like make you cringe every time you see them in your yard into something that could actually be beautiful and labeled a garden. So in that video, I just went through my thought process, my design process, planted it up, and here we are 2 years later, and it no longer is the eyesore that it used to be. It's actually quite pretty. Let's take a look at what it was like before 2 years ago. You can see it was full of weeds, it had some kind of like sparse grass growing, really there was nothing going on, and every time I would get home, drive to the bottom of the driveway and see it, it would just make me mad. I hated looking at it. And so I've been really thrilled to see how this garden has been progressing. Now let's take a look at some of the elements that I tried to accomplish with this little garden section. Now, first and foremost, because this is kind of at the edge of my property, I really wanted it to kind of be a natural transition into like the more woodland areas just adjacent to it. So that's why I wanted to go with a lot of native grasses and sedges to give that kind of grassy, flowy energy. So it kind of just flows naturally. It's not like, I don't want it to be a focal point of the garden. I'm not putting things like roses or hydrangeas that really bring like your vision. I wanted to make it very subtle, so it just kind of like evaporates into the distance rather than your eyes just going to that septic tank and just being just this this cringe factor. So all of my grasses and sedges are starting to really fill out, look beautiful, and then I added in some other native plants for just a little bit of upright. I really wanted to create a lot of like upright plants to shade away, to really keep those septic things out of my eyesight. And so that's why I wanted to do a lot of like upright plants that created that vertical interest and kind of act as like a view screen so that your eyes don't go past that, or you kind of just travel beyond rather than stopping on a specific point. And so I had a really free-flowing matrix style planting scheme where I just kind of dotted a handful of plants, maybe 7 or 8 different kinds of plants all throughout this garden. I didn't have any sort of like blocking, nothing like formal. It's very kind of naturalistically designed. And with that in mind, I also wanted to use a lot of different native plants, native to my region, native to the Mid-Atlantic area. So that's why I wanted to go with things like all of the sedges, the obedient plants, some Syrinchium, I think that's how you pronounce it, Syrinchium. And then kind of at the very front of it, I decided to go with a non-native, Alchemilla mollis, a lady's mantle that creates that sort of initial sort of like flowing nature to show you that it is in fact a garden. It's not just this grass area. I really wanted it to, you know, I wanted it to look like a garden, feel like a garden, but not be so focused on, not be a focal point. I have other focal points in my garden. And to really kind of section it off, I went with just like a low-key little little rope cord right here to create this sort of, you know, this is off limits because it's really important that people don't drive on it, but I wanted to do it in a really nice kind of low-key manner. So I went with black. I think it looks pretty nice. And as you can see, all the different grasses and sedges, and I put a bunch of calla lilies in there as well because I had a bunch of calla lily bulbs hanging around. But I did also want to put a few different ground covers to kind of create that tapestry energy so it doesn't have a lot of bare space. There's still a lot of empty space that will need to get filled out with more grasses and sedges and ground covers, and that's fine, and I'll continue to add plants as needed. But I think that tapestry is finally starting to take hold right now. I'm here in like September in Westchester, Pennsylvania, Zone 6B, and I'm really thrilled this natural energy that this garden is starting to take. It's totally transformed from that disgusting eyesore. So I just wanted to create a short update video showing you guys, yes, you can turn places in your yard that are currently eyesores into something that's beautiful. It just takes a little bit of planning and patience, strategizing, and thinking through how you can achieve what you want to. And that's really what gardening is all about. So I hope you found this video short, sweet, a little bit of inspiration, maybe a little bit of creativity, jogging. And anyway, if you did like it, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to our channel. We're bringing new plant-related content like this every single week for years. And we plan to continue to do so for many more years. So thanks for joining me here along this journey. I'll catch you guys later. Ciao.